All right, welcome everyone to our mock fundraising exercise. We are group 6, and we'll kick things off by talking about some of our charities. So I'll speak to the first two. Girls in Tech is a charity that seeks to empower and educate women in the workplace. With the gender gap being so apparent these days, this is a charity that seeks to close that. Operation Underground Railroad, I feel, is a charity that a lot of us are familiar with, but for those who aren't, it is a charity that seeks to put an end to human trafficking, which is a huge problem in our society today.
Shriners Hospital, I don't feel like people know a whole lot about, but it's a hospital for children who have terminal illnesses or very hard in those illnesses to get rid of or treat. The Humane Society of Utah is probably a little bit more familiar for everyone. They just take care of animals that have been abused, and they help them find good homes, as well as the Huntsman Cancer Institute. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, but they're the best cancer institute in the state of Utah, and they help a lot of people.
Okay, let's talk about how much we received. We had a total goal of $8,100 to achieve. Shriners Hospital, we raised $1,010. And the way that donation was delivered was pretty neat. There's a picture there of EJ's little sister delivering the goods. She dressed up as a princess as requested by the hospital. And they requested that instead of just bringing cash or the monetary donations, that they went out and bought toys and books and blankets that the kids would actually be able to use because it was a lot more valuable to them. So they did that. For Humane Society of Utah, we raised $210. The Utah Huntsman Cancer Institute was our biggest donation received for $6,500. Girls in Tech raised $310, and Operation Underground Railroad raised $500. So we were pretty ecstatic about these results because it totaled $8,530, which surpassed our original goal of $8,100. The way that we were able to raise this money was through 4 main resources. The first being networking, and that includes just reaching out to our immediate contact list, whether it was through blasting our contact list in our phone or showing up at those contacts lists, also their networks, such as doing through our spouse's work or our parents' work and talking to their networks that they also know. We also use social media, whether it was through Facebook or Instagram, sharing links and our ideas and our goals of what we were trying to accomplish. We used the GoFundMe platform, which actually yielded the least amount of results, where we would post the links of what we were trying to raise money for. And then what actually raised the most amount of money was our door-to-door. EJ used this one very effectively, where it was going door-to-door in his neighborhood, whether talking to people in person, or his sister also baked goods and sold those for in-cash donations.
Awesome. So let's talk about some learning objectives. The first one really came from that Forbes article that we read this week, and that is perfecting your message. So on this next slide, you'll see a couple of graphics. So similar to the lean startup methodology, we saw as sort of finding a problem to be solved. We took a similar approach to charity, finding a charity that resonated with a lot of people, and then delivering that message to engage anybody that was interested. So I'll speak to the Girls in Tech charity. A hot topic with millennials, at least, is closing the gender gap in the workplace. So we chose a charity that helped supported that mission, and it resonated with a lot of people. For example, I had gone into my mother's workplace, and she is a female director along with a couple other female directors in that department. And I spoke to them about this charity, and it resonated with them, and they donated $200. So of the $310 that we raised for that charity, 200 came from 3 powerful women in the workplace. So that kind of speaks to crafting a message and speaking to the right people. Similarly, EJ's charity was something that resonated with a lot of people and plays a factor into our second learning objective, which is passion.
Yeah, passion is almost as important. It's super important because if you don't have a drive or you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be willing to be scrappy about it. And while we were choosing the charities, one thing that really stuck in my mind was while I was on an LDS mission, my mother received cancer. And it was one of the harder parts of my life in general, and not being able to be home with my mother. And being far away in Brazil. One thing that stuck out to me was the Cancer Institute themselves, is that the doctors and nurses followed up with me. They emailed me and assured that my mother would make it. And it left such a big impact on me that I've always wanted to give back to them, and this was the perfect opportunity. As well as Shriners Hospital. My little sister and I, our grandpa, he was diagnosed with polio when he was a young boy and actually spent over 2 years in a full body cast. And it affected him for the rest of his life, but he made it. And we just always wanted to give back, because without having the Shriners Hospital, we wouldn't be here today. And well, as with the Humane Society, since I enlisted my little sister, it was important to have her pick something she cared about, and that's what it happened to be. And so that's what we did with that. And the reason why we chose to go door to door or sell cookies was because we wanted to be scrappy, especially when we're finding out that GoFundMe wasn't a real good source. We just tried everything we could to make the amount and hit our goals, and especially allow our passion to drive us through this. And that we learned a lot from this assignment, and hopefully that the impact it made on the people will be the best satisfaction we had. And thank you everybody for listening, and that's all we have.